In a world where a bald-headed guy that likes to drive cars fast meets another guy who likes to hit up women, both on booty calls and physically, James Bond versus some guy with the last name Cage. I'll just say Johnny Cage. That's the only one I know.
Sorry about that.
I was doing my trailer. God, you interrupted.
Damn it. Don't let me stop you.
No, I was doing my trailer voice for Triple X versus 000, X's and O's.
Nice. Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another exciting adventure of the Real Comic Heroes podcast. I'm Travis.
And I'm Patrick.
And what are we here watching today?
We're watching 1974, The Man with the Golden Gun.
Nice.
That was my announcer voice.
Yeah, in a world.
Yeah. I don't think I can get that deep, though, without hurting something.
Yeah.
All right, so a quick synopsis, just pulled off the IMDb. James Bond is led to believe that he is targeted by the world's most expensive assassin while he attempts to recover sensitive solar cell technology that is being sold to the highest bidder. And that's a pretty good synopsis.
It is. Definitely the first part of it is true to the movie. We'll talk about it later, but the whole solar cell,
Yeah.
I didn't get any sense of the bidding really taking place, but
yeah, it seemed like it didn't get that far yet.
Yeah. It's like this was leading up to the solar technology being auctioned off.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like it was a big deal at the beginning, like with when Bond goes and talks with not Q. What the hell's his name? M. I knew it was a letter. When he talks to M, they're sort of talking about this has been going on.
Yeah.
The whole energy crisis. So
right, because I guess there was like a oil crisis in '73. So,
Gotcha.
Of course, they find a way to kind of write that into the script. So
okay. Yeah, I knew there was some kind of energy crisis in the 70s because I remember seeing footage of people in line for gas.
Right, yeah.
But I didn't realize it was this early in the 70s. Maybe it didn't get to the States until later.
No.
Yeah, I thought I remembered it was Jimmy Carter's administration, so I thought it was later
maybe.
70s.
Okay.
But I'm no historian.
And I get the sense that solar technology is relatively new. I mean, obviously they'd had an idea of how to use solar technology, but I think here we're led to believe that you can do a lot more with solar energy,
Well, hell yeah. Death rays and...
Death ray, yeah.
And ridiculously huge solar plants.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, let's see. Did you want to get into, the first part of the movie?
Sure, yeah.
Just,
So we can kind of talk about everything from in the first act that we have in our notes right now.
I just figured we should lay down the rules of our acts so people know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
As you can tell, we're trying to figure this out on the fly, kind of, since I hadn't seen the movie before.
Right.
And you'd seen it probably a while ago, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's been probably a year or two.
Okay, never mind. I was thinking it was longer.
Do
you normally watch the Bond movies every few years, or?
Well, here's the thing. I initially watched them all as a marathon, probably 10 years ago. My father-in-law got the entire set on DVD, so it was kind of cool to sit down and watch all of them. And then recently in the last, 2 or 3 years, I've been watching more of them, following along with the James Bonding podcast.
Oh, okay.
And they've been going through them all. I think they did this one in 2014, so for sure I've at least seen it, I guess in the last 2 years.
Okay.
It was fresh enough in my memory that I kind of remembered what happened, but I couldn't remember. I thought Miss Anders, ended up turning on him.
Oh.
Or being like a double,
Yeah.
She was a double agent, sort of, but I thought she betrayed James Bond. So little details like that I couldn't remember happening, but...
Okay. Let's see. Did you want to just get into the first act then?
Yeah.
All right. I'll start it off with probably my favorite character, Nack.
He's great, isn't he?
Oh, I was kind of bummed that he's basically Fantasy Island Tattoo again, like right off the bat, but that might have been intentional.
I think this is before that, right?
Is it? Oh, okay.
I thought so.
Well, that's just weird then.
Yeah.
I sort of assumed because he was basically in the same getup.
Well, I read that before this movie, Hervé Villechaize was sleeping in his car in Los Angeles.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so I
right.
don't think he... Okay.
Yeah. It was like 77 for Fantasy Island.
Okay, so a couple of years, yeah.
So Fantasy Island is a Bond ripoff. Well, it ties together two movie franchises, because we got Ricardo Montalban and then...
That's right.
Hervé. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked his character in this.
I do too.
Like, he's like the perfect spy in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, no one kind of... I mean, he gets noticed, but
he's dismissed.
As quickly... Yeah, he's dismissed as quickly as he is noticed. And I really like their Scaramanga and Nack's relationship. Like, it's a kind of a joke. Like, in the intro, you know, we're shown that Nack is kind of trying to get Scaramanga killed.
Yeah.
Because he gets to inherit all of his land or whatever, all of his money. And so he kind of wants him dead, but in a fun-loving kind of way.
I know, it's such a weird relationship.
Bravo, Monsieur Scaramanga. You've done it again.
You'll have to do better than that if you want to come into my money.
I get you yet.
You'll be the death of me yet, Nack.
I don't know. I like their dynamic.
Yeah.
So
it was kind of weird. I was trying to gauge, like, because Scaramanga is not really the evil villain for this whole solar energy thing.
Right.
But he's sort of a hitman, and then Nack is his kind of goon, or not goon, but I don't know, second man on the ground.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a three-way, like, main sort of bad guy focal point.
Yeah.
Like, I was trying to figure out who's really the evil mastermind the whole time.
Sure.
Because it wouldn't have surprised me if Hervé was the evil mastermind.
That would have been kind of cool.
Like, he's just playing all these people against each other, and it's really his plan all along. Like, I was waiting for that. So.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, that's cool that you kind of expected, one twist, but...
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was sort of a far-fetched one, obviously, but
sure.
I wouldn't have put it past him. He seemed pretty smart.
Oh, yeah, he was pretty savvy. Let's see.
Do you even want to talk about the beginning shot?
Oh, the opening?
With the superfluous nipple.
Oh, right, yeah. We see him right away with the third nipple.
Yeah.
It's...
I thought the one in Mallrats was better.
Yeah, right. It's disgusting. Oh, what are you talking about? What do you mean? It's as plain as day.
Yeah, so I think Mallrats has best third nipple scene in movie history.
Yeah, for
Hands
sure.
down. It beats Friends. It beats this, and I'm sure there's others.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an odd like setup, because it becomes I guess you'd call it a plot line or a plot thread, like.
Yeah, I like that that's his only distinguishing mark, but they don't know what his face looks like.
Yeah.
So you get a look at his nipple, but not his face. I don't get it.
Apparently, yeah.
Or maybe that's just like hearsay, like everyone talks about it, I guess.
Could be. Yeah, it's like, how would that get out? But
that seems like a bizarre detail.
And I guess, like, if you were going to describe somebody, if that's a detail that you know about them, then I guess that's his most distinct quality. Like, otherwise, what do you say? He's a tall guy with, he's got a slightly dark complexion.
Well, even Bond admits it's useless unless he's at a topless bar. So,
right, which is a fun line,
So, I mean, it's kind of useless unless he walks around in a tank top all the time.
Right. Yeah, it's purely just set up for as a way to then have Bond disguise himself as Scaramanga. And I like
I think that's Q's finest work.
Yeah, I like the little. He writes a note to Q for third nipple.
I wish it shot like acid, like a clown's flower.
Oh, that would be great.
He just squeezes the third nipple.
Yeah, and as far as Ian Fleming, he tends to write his villains with the weird medical conditions or whatever. Like this is a week, This is Ian took the day off when he was coming up with Scaramanga's, deformity, if you will.
Yeah.
So a third nipple is kind of lame as far as,
It was just bizarre. It threw me off guard.
What would have been cool is the bullet maker was talking about he was designing a gun for a person with 2 fingers.
Yeah.
Or that could have been a cool, like the man with the golden gun that only has 2 fingers could have been kind of cool.
It would have been very Princess Bride.
You're right. Yeah.
Where he made the sword for a 5-fingered man or a 6-fingered.
Yeah, 6-fingered. Yeah. Of course, filming something like that would have looked ridiculous trying to have a prosthetic. I
don't know. They pulled it off with the last movie in The Claw.
Yeah, perfectly.
Yep.
Yeah.
They probably would have just taped down fingers or something.
Yeah.
They could have pulled that off, I think. What did you have for the first part?
I really like the intro with the whole funhouse kind of thing with the shooting gallery.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little trippy, but I like the music.
Yeah.
Because they use the theme song throughout the entire movie in a couple different ways. Like in the shooting gallery, it's played to kind of a saloon kind of Western spin on it. But I really like that.
Yeah, it made more sense as the movie went on why he had all that stuff.
Yeah. He was a circus performer.
Yeah, like a trick shot artist.
Yeah, I just like the whole intro with it's setting up that Scaramanga's whole thing is that he brings people to the island, or is it? I kind of read it as it's Nack testing Scaramanga, like he's constantly putting him through little tests.
Yeah. Was that 002?
No.
Okay.
002 we never meet.
Okay.
This guy his name was Rodney. It's kind of a weird name for he's supposed to be, I think, a Chicago mob guy.
That's what I got from the whole Capone thing.
Yeah, and he's actually, we've seen this actor before in Diamonds Are Forever. He was part of the Slumber Inc. mafia guys that took Connery out to the mortuary or whatever.
Yeah.
He's the guy that says, I didn't know there was a pool down there when they threw Plenty of Tool from the hotel window.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the same guy, and I kind of like to think that it's the same character.
Cool.
Yeah. They don't say that it's the same character, but I like to think that it is. I don't get a big assassin vibe off of this guy, but he's supposed to be a hitman.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think he's more of a hitman than an assassin.
Yeah, I guess there's a difference.
Yeah, assassin, I think covert.
Yeah.
And hitman, I think, everybody knows he's a hitman. Kind of like Bond.
Right.
Everybody knows who he is. Which they bring up later that Scaramanga has the advantage because everyone knows who Bond is.
Yeah.
I'm like, finally, somebody says something.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So now I like the whole intro.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I like the music. I don't like the lyrics to the song.
Yeah.
I think they're really weak, but I do like the song itself and that it gets played throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, the lyrics are kind of super on point.
Yes, yeah. It's very storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, and then even at the end, they have like different lyrics kind of recapping what just happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, at the end, the good night thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Turning
let's
this
see.
into a musical.
Yeah. I like the as far as like the still part of the first act. I really like Bond in M's office with his name's like Colthorpe, I think, and just you know, it's another classic example of Bond showing off to M because M asks him what he knows about Scaramanga.
Oh yeah, and he goes into like a whole synopsis of his life.
What do you know about a man called Scaramanga, 007?
Scaramanga? Oh, yes. The man with the golden gun. Born in a circus, father the ringmaster, possibly Cuban, mother English, a snake charmer. He was a spectacular trick shot artist by the time he was 10 and a local Rio gunman at 15. The KGB recruited him there and trained him in Europe, where he became an overworked, underpaid assassin. He went independent in the late 50s. Current price, $1 million a hit. No photograph on file, but he does have one distinguishing feature, however. A superfluous papilla.
A what?
A mammary gland. A third nipple, sir. He always uses a golden bullet, hence man with the golden gun. Present domicile unknown. I think that's all. Why, sir?
Just rattles on this entire like biography of Scaramanga, but I like the moment that M asks him what he knows about him, and Bond has this blank look on his face as if he's a computer searching for the information.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh yes," you know, and then goes into the whole bio of Scaramanga. But just I love the moments like that with Bond and M where Bond just shows off in front of M.
Yeah, and M obviously kind of resents Bond.
Oh, I mean, it's dripping with condescension.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I know you're great, but I'm gonna knock you off your pedestal a little bit.
Yeah,
sort of like he's keeping Bond's ego in check.
Right.
But I guess Moneypenny does that too.
Yeah,
I really liked her part in this. It was like the best I've seen from her in a while. Yeah,
she kind of gives him the cold shoulder a little bit. It's an interesting dynamic shift between those two. They're less flirty, and she just kind of ignores him, and
she sort of, you can tell she's still digging him because she goes, "Yes, James," like when he said something again, but like it's definitely changed since the whole marriage thing.
Yeah,
I think. But this is like a return of Moneypenny, I thought.
Yeah.
Like, I liked it. It wasn't the same old, oh, Bond, blah, blah, blah. It was more like she was giving back, like, giving him crap back.
I always like when another 00 is referenced, because he asks her about Fairbanks, and Fairbanks is Bill Fairbanks is 002. And apparently he was killed by Scaramanga off screen, before this whole story gets kicked off. So, but I always like learning about another 00.
Yeah, it's kind of, it still leads to what the heck the rankings are. Is it just seniority? Is it skill? Like, it's weird to me.
I've got to assume it's a seniority thing.
But it's like he never changes from 007.
Right, yeah. So I would think that if he's their best, he would have advanced in number.
Yeah, because like if 002 goes down, doesn't that make Bond 006?
Right. And I can't imagine there's a 0010 or a 010, so I have to imagine that there's only 9 agents, 001 through 009, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's just their 9 best agents, and
what if it's
maybe when you...
O?
Yeah. So I have to, because
the unknown agent.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I just made a new Bond movie. You're welcome, everyone.
Yeah. So maybe because we learn later in Casino Royale that Bond gets his 00 status after killing 2 people. So maybe all agents, are just agents, and then once they achieve 2 kills, they become a 00, and they probably just take over the first available empty slot. So if James gets killed, then some other agent will then become a 007. Maybe. I don't know.
That's a good... Yeah, I like that. I mean, that would make sense with how he never changes his number, because he's always 007.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's the one that makes the most sense. But I do have another idea for a great movie.
Okay, lay it on me.
We just said Triple O.
What?
We have the movie series Triple X. So we could have X's versus O's. Tic-tac-toe.
Oh my God, it's right there in front of us.
Perfect.
All this time.
As soon as I said Triple O, I was like, oh yes.
Oh.
Vin
and
Diesel.
They're making a new, yeah, and they're actually making a new Triple X.
Yeah. Not the Ice Cube version or whoever.
Right.
I think it was Ice Cube.
No, yeah. No, Vin Diesel's coming back. I think it's even subtitled The Return of Xander Cage.
Oh, nice.
So I look forward to hearing more about that.
Yep. Okay, so yeah. I think O's versus X's. That's on.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be awesome.
Let's
man, I'm sad. Okay.
Yeah.
Back on point. Oh, let's see. Just as a side note, Q had a really good scene again. I thought when they were showing the analysis for the bullets.
Oh, that was great.
And then they had the explosion in the background.
I know.
Like, it was a return of that thing that we missed in the last one.
Yeah, I do. I like seeing Q Branch and just the weird little experiments that are going on in the background that have nothing to do with the story. Yeah.
So
and I love seeing Desmond Llewellyn just... It's different than the way M condescends to Bond. It's just...
It's more fun.
It's more what?
I think Q and Bond. Fatherly. Like, I sense that Bond has respect for Q, but I don't feel that same way with M. It's just him and Bond are more of like conflicting forces. Like,
that's true.
They're both on the same team, but they don't gel well together. But I think Q and Bond kind of get along at some point,
Yeah.
But maybe I just think that because Q's always the old guy.
Right. But I don't know, because you do have M, after their kind of mission briefing, and they explained to Bond that they've got this bullet, or they found a bullet was sent to MI6 with 007 on it, and that M tells Bond that he's being taken off the case of finding some missing solar energy expert. He's being taken off that case and is supposed to go into hiding until, I guess, so that Scaramanga can't kill him. But then it makes it very clear to Bond that, maybe you should go rogue. Essentially, he's sanctioning Bond going rogue.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you have another one for the first part of the movie?
I really like Lazar, the bullet maker.
Yeah.
He's just an interesting character. He's not evil. He does work for bad guys, but...
Yeah, he's sort of like a indifferent evil.
Right, like he's just there to supply, And I get the sense that if he was contracted by Q, he would make a bullet for James Bond,
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, he said it would be his honor to make something for Bond. So right there, he's just, a fan of, I guess, killing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, he likes the great hitmen of the world to come to him. So it's kind of like an ego thing.
Right. There's pride in his work, and I dig that about this guy.
Yeah, it's also the first time I thought that they compare Bond and Scaramanga as being similar.
Right.
Because that gets brought up a numerous amount of times in the later parts of the film. Although I did find the scene where he's aiming at his groin to be the most like hardcore Bond moment I've seen in a while.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
he actually shoots. Yeah, he actually shoots at him, knowing about the change in elevation for the bullet.
It's pretty sadistic.
Yeah, it was pretty morbid. I liked it.
Yeah. I find they talk about I'm trying to think of how it goes. Oh, that's right. They find out about the bullet that shot Fairbanks, and they say the bullet was never recovered. And instantly we go from that, I think that's in Moneypenny's office.
Yeah.
They transition to Bond found the bullet. Like, Bond can find it. I don't know why anyone else couldn't find it. It's in the belly dancer's, navel.
At first I thought it got stuck there.
Oh,
I didn't know
right.
Jewelry. I was like, what the hell is going on?
So it's just,
Girl
they
with the golden
cut.
belly button?
Yeah. It's a weird transition just to say, no one found this bullet, to Bond found it. Like, there's no explanation of how, like, he knew it was in Beirut, and they probably knew that Fairbanks may have spent his last dying moments with this belly dancer, but it's a leap to assume that she's going to have or know where the bullet is, and that she literally has it on her person. So it's a weird jump that I'll go with, because you forget it as soon as, and it's a funny, like, moment when he swallows it, as he's kissing it out of her stomach. So
yeah.
I do like the fight that we get in her dressing room. It's Bond versus like 5 or 6 guys, and
it's another close
quarters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was well done. He smashes the guy's face into the mirror, and it's a really awesome. It looks hardcore,
Yeah, it was. I think they excel at close quarters combat, like in a small space.
Yeah,
it's easier to do, I think. So I think they perfected it.
Except for when they knock the mirror out of alignment, and you see the entire crew and lighting gear in the background.
Oh, I didn't even notice. I did not notice that. That's awesome.
You should go back and rewatch it, because at one point they jostle. I think it's like on a vanity or something. They jostle this big mirror, and it's a good sized mirror, and you just see the camera guy, lighting equipment. It's plain as day. Like, there's no. It'd be easy.
I perfected.
Well, it's a fast enough scene that you could easily miss it, but the camera lingers on it for a good second and a half. But there's enough other like action going on that you're focusing on the fight, so it's easy not to notice it. But once you do notice it, it's all you can see. So.
Yeah, it was Okay, this leads me to a point that I am still trying to figure out. Okay. I should start off by saying I love the fact that his face, when he got hit while digging out the belly button charm with his mouth, his face was awesome. But did he swallow that, and did Q have to sift through his poo?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I have to imagine.
Swallowed it.
Oh, he definitely swallowed it.
Okay.
Because that's the line when he leaves the fight. He gets picked up by the taxi, and he says, take me to the nearest pharmacy. So I got to assume he's getting laxatives.
I didn't even pick that up. That's awesome.
Yeah. But I refuse to believe that someone of Q's stature or standing is sifting through Bond's poo. I imagine he has like a junior associate,
Yeah.
He has his interns.
Yeah, interns. They're just sitting with Bond with a soup strainer or something.
Just awkwardly waiting, like, so, did you catch the game last night?
Don't mind. Oh, man. That killed me. I loved it.
Yeah.
Like, his face when he swallowed it was priceless.
Yeah. Gulp.
Oh, man.
Oh, and he has another line. It kind of tags up on that when he's telling Q, you have no idea what that bullet went through to get here, or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's awesome. Humor.
Right. So that's when Q and I think his name's Colthorpe. They're telling him, all about this bullet, and I do like Bond's complete like annoyance or boredom or whatever. Like, he's so frustrated with Q and this other guy explaining that this bullet's like a 4.2 .28 caliber, and that there's no such thing as that size, and so that's how he gets led to Macau. So
yeah, I like that Q and that other dude were just nerding out over the bullet.
I do too. Yeah.
See, I was gonna. Sorry, go.
I was just realizing I was getting caught up in like explaining how he goes from one scene to the next. So
yeah, I was just gonna say.
So let's see.
I was gonna skip ahead to a return of domestic abuse Bond, where he slaps ladies around and also peeps on them while they're in the shower.
Right. Yeah. Let's go to that.
I thought that she was gonna be a bit stronger at first because she had the gun in the shower and everything, but then she turns her head to talk on the phone, and I'm like, oh geez, Bond's gonna do something. And I was immediately disappointed. And it is the return of our normal Bond. I think I have like at least 6 points that make this a return to a Bond movie.
Okay.
It's Moneypenny actually, being some part of this movie and having good lines. It's got a good cute scene, slapping ladies around.
Right.
Sweet secret layers, a.k.a. a sunken ship.
Yes.
And let's see, we've also got what's my last one? Oh yeah, Sea Bang. They get busy while they're out at sea.
Dude, oh, you're right. Yeah, I didn't even consider that it ends on a boat with Bond.
So yeah, it's all here.
Okay.
This is Bond returned.
Good. Yeah.
I don't know. That just kicked me off into my. I had like all these like lines pointing to Bond movie, and that's what I think of with the Bond movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Like historically, those are my scenes I look for.
Nice.
I think that says more about me though.
Violence against women and.
Yep, check.
And awesome secret villain bases.
Yeah, big time.
Nice. Yeah, so let's talk about Miss Anders. And I didn't know her name is Andrea Anders until I saw the credits.
Yeah, I didn't either.
She's really just referenced as Miss Anders the whole time. So he fought what? He sees her obtain the bullets that the bullet maker made. So that's how he starts trailing her. And what do you think of her character? Like you said, she was
man. I thought she was going to be. Yeah, I thought she was going to be tough at first because she had the gun in the shower. So I thought she had her head on her, like she knows what she's involved with, and she had a drop on Bond at first, but then again she falls to his his mojo, I guess, as Austin Powers would call it, and immediately just becomes a victim, like instantaneously.
Yeah, I feel bad for her character throughout this movie.
She's a victim the whole time.
Right, yeah. Because at first you might think she keeps a gun in the shower because she's always prepared and she's a badass.
Nope.
Like you were saying, that's kind of what you were expecting her to be. But it also might be she's terrified for her life, so she's always got a gun with her. And
I also thought she kind of looked like one of the Charlie's Angels, so maybe that's why I thought she would be a badass.
It could be. She's very statuesque.
Yeah, she looked like that, and she carried herself pretty well up until that point on the bed.
Yeah, this is Maud Adams, and I don't. Aside from Maud, it's a unfortunate name for such a I guess she's kind of classically beautiful. Like I don't find her too attractive. She's got a very strong jawline.
Yeah,
but she'll pop up she'll pop up again in Octopussy as the villain. So she'll be back with us in a couple movies. Well, a couple Bond movies.
That reminds me, I forgot a point that makes it a Bond movie.
Yeah.
Chew Me.
Chew Me. Yeah.
And
A Merry Goodnight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other staple of a Bond film. Okay. Sidetrack.
I don't like the way that she's essentially Scaramanga's sex toy. Like she says that he basically uses her before every kill, Like, I guess it kind of centers him, and Bond says it's kind of the same way bullfighters will have sex before, their performance.
Yeah, it focuses their sight or something.
Yeah. I don't like when Scaramanga returns to her and just intimidates her with his gun, like, dragging it across her skin. Like, that really, really upset me.
It was just creepy. I was like,
but
okay,
then,
his gun is his penis. All right.
Right.
I get it.
But Bond's not much better. Like you said, the first thing he does with her is he smacks the gun out of her hand, which Bond's going to do if anyone's got a gun on him. That's not a big deal. But yeah, then throws her on the bed and twists her arm behind her back and threatens to break it. And it's kind of, like you said, it's the return of that Connery Bond that we're kind of used to.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to see Bond seduce his way out of this situation.
Yeah, he was sort of more forceful and, I don't know. I didn't like the whole scene, really. It was kind of...
Well, and according to, I think audio commentaries with Roger Moore and other interviews, he didn't like this scene either. Like, this was a very against his kind of vision of what Bond should be. So I don't think there's too much more of this type of, treatment of women. I think Roger Moore's Bond becomes more of the seducer of women rather than smacking him around. Because he also does literally smack her.
Yeah, I know.
And then raises his hand to her as if he's going to do it again, and it's
why I oughta.
Yeah, it's unsettling,
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, I mean, that's probably one of my least favorite scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
Just say it up front, but
yeah, I'll say another one of my least favorite scenes, especially I think we're in Act 2 now.
Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, this is before they go to the sunken ship lair.
Okay.
As a logo designer, what did you think of the bottoms up sign?
Oh.
Because, man, they showed the hell out of that thing.
Yeah. And apparently it's a real club. Like, that's
awesome.
Up until 2004, it was operating. But yeah, the bottoms up logo is, I think it's pretty awesome.
It's just butt cheeks up.
Yeah, in a kind of a heart shape.
I was like, wow, on point with that sign.
Yeah.
There's no playing dumb on that one. That's exactly what it's for.
Well, I thought it was fairly suggestive. Their Bond and Miss Anders toast to the bottoms up because that's where Bond knows that Scaramanga is going to be, and they transition from that shot directly to a woman's ass, like right in, front and center, So that's progressive, I thought, for a Bond movie. But
yeah, and this is the location that the one person gets shot instead of Bond.
Yeah, this is where Gibson, who is the solar expert, that's where he gets killed. I don't like necessarily that Bond has he's not involved in this part of the movie. Like, he's observing everything.
Well, he sort of gets taken off of it so he can sort out the whole hit on his life thing.
Yeah.
So he's aware of it, but he's sort of
it's just weird.
Sidetracked.
For me, it was just weird seeing Bond standing around loitering on a street corner, waiting for something to happen. That was just, for me, a little strange.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the next act where we're on the awesome reveal of the sunken ship that we saw earlier actually being a headquarters for...
Yeah, and I guess a little background on this ship. There's the RMS Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
It was like, it spent its time as a cruise ship and then got sold to some Hong Kong company. They were going to use it as a floating university, kind of a semester at sea kind of thing. And something happened, some mysterious circumstances, and several fires were lit or broke out on the ship. And then the ship caught fire, and then as fire crews were putting it out, using water hoses, the ship, capsized. And so there it lay for like 2 years, right around this filming. But then shortly after, it got sold for scrap, and it's
Yeah.
But I just thought it was cool that it's a real cruise liner, kind of like the was it the Concordia in Italy that capsized a couple years ago. So
the captain did not follow proper procedure when evacuating.
Yeah.
Excuse me, babies and children and women, I'm going first. Out of here.
It's like George in Seinfeld when he's running from the apartment that's on fire.
I think he escaped on a raft made of babies.
Yeah. Oh,
that's how bad it was.
That's so
God,
terrible.
That's morbid.
Yeah,
I know.
That's awesome.
Live babies. That's better.
Well, yeah.
Babies can swim. They're used to it. They can breathe underwater.
Yeah.
I've seen the videos. They're basically little tiny Aquaman. Okay. So second act. Where'd you want to go?
Second act, I think, starts with Bond getting on the underwater base, and it's just such an awesome ship. I mean, it's an awesome base.
Yeah.
Because it's this ship that's kind of tilted on its side, but they've built,
they've
built rooms inside of it, like they're kind of counteracting the tilt.
Yeah.
It's a great design. And this isn't even Ken Adam. Ken Adam took this movie off, so I would have thought it was his, brilliant, set decoration that we've kind of come to know with the previous movies. But this is kind of a one-off guy.
Yeah. And you meet the Hong Kong Secret Service guy, or
Hip.
Yeah.
It took me a while to catch his name, so I eventually saw it in IMDb.
Yeah, I didn't know it until you brought it up to me.
Yeah.
IMDb.
Yeah. I really like this guy. He's very soft-spoken, but he's got later on we see him very, kind of laughing about his nieces and all that stuff we'll get to, but I really dig this guy, so.
Let's see. I did notice Scaramanga's ship.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of the Goonies. It looked like an old pirate ship.
Yeah, kind of, but it has that Asian influence with the weird scalloped sails.
Yeah, it looked really old and outdated, but on the inside it was pretty swanky, wood
all modern, yeah.
70s modern.
I digged it. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, all right, he's got a sea layer as well as his secret island layer.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, okay, maybe he is the mastermind behind this. Once I saw he had multiple layers.
Right.
Let's see. Do you want to talk more about the ship and what conversation went on, or just move forward?
Yeah, let's. I do like that. I always like it when James hooks back up with MI6. Whether it's in the field or in London or whatever. But I do like the mid-movie interaction with Bond and M and everyone else. So it's kind of a good scene where he just reestablishes that kind of gives them a mission briefing, kind of what's going on. And this is when let's see, what basically happens here.
Well, they found out that Gibson had the device on him for the solar.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That they failed to get the device because he was killed, but they don't know how it went from being in his pocket to not being in his pocket when he was dead. So,
Nack.
Yeah, Nack. But I do like that we don't see it either, but because we see Nack when Gibson is killed.
Well, he's messing with the body.
Yeah.
And I didn't put it together until they said it was missing, and then I realized Nack must have picked the pocket.
Right. It's easy to overlook, because Nack is so badass that no one suspects that he's, rifling through his pockets.
I thought he was looking for the bullet.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what he was there for, but it makes sense.
I thought they always were missing a bullet, so I thought maybe he was looking for the bullet to take back.
Yeah, and I guess at this point we've not even seen the Solex device, so we wouldn't even know that it's in his pockets.
Yeah, this is the scene where they tell you how big it is, and it's really small.
Yeah, and it's the device that's gonna power up some solar device, but honestly, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, they made it seem like solar energy was going to be monopolized when I was like, how can you monopolize the sun?
Right.
So that...
Well, if you have this device that can turn the solar rays into massive amounts of power, I think that's kind of what makes this device so important.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously probably the first of its kind, but
yeah.
I would think more than one person's been working on this.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of an odd, because you can't really monopolize the sun.
Right.
But the technology, yeah, that part I can get. It's just, there's got to be, people all over the world trying to harness solar power.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of weird, but I guess.
Yeah, but it kind of like tangentially brings us back to the overarching, not even threat of the movie, but just the overarching like theme of we're here to stop someone from monopolizing solar energy, essentially.
I think the problem is that M says it, that they're running out of fossil fuel and oil and
right. Yeah.
Coal and all that. So I think they're trying
40 years ago.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make it more urgent.
Yes.
And that's why it's more of a big deal than really the technology.
Yeah.
Because they're assuming that we're running out and we're going to be out of it pretty quickly.
In the next few years, yeah.
So that makes more sense in that sense of the urgency behind getting this, because maybe they're the closest to achieving solar energy transference to electricity.
Yeah.
But that's the part that I was like, wait, what? Are we really? Wait, I had to ask my wife. I was like, are we running out of energy? Do we need to stock up on gas? Because this movie was made like 100 years ago.
Yeah, this movie from 40 years ago tells me that we're running out of energy.
And if I've known anything, Bond is strict science.
Yes.
Let's see. We're past the ship point. I didn't know what you wanted to talk about after that.
Basically, once Bond has his third nipple, he goes to this. I guess he's supposed to be a legitimate Chinese businessman. High fat. And I guess everyone suspects him. He's the only person in the world that can afford Scaramanga's services of $1 million a shot. Because as the song tells us at the beginning, he gets $1 million for every kill.
Yeah, and his gun only holds one bullet.
Right, because he only needs the one.
And gold is a lousy metal for bullet.
Oh, yeah.
Soft.
Probably way too soft, yeah.
I was hoping it would be, there was a Mythbusters where they did the ice bullet.
Oh, yeah?
And saying, it would penetrate and kill you and then leave no bullet behind because it would melt.
Right. I think this was like, they did it on CSI.
Oh, did they?
And then I think so. I don't know if that's where it originated, but then I think that's when Mythbusters tried to debunk it, maybe.
Yeah, because I saw, like, the ice bullet was pretty much useless.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, with the golden... I mean, the only saving grace is that he does headshots. But the fact that it can penetrate the skull, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, because otherwise you could just wear a bulletproof vest and the gold would just break apart, I would think.
Yeah.
At speed.
But, let me think. The belly dancer does tell Bond that Bond thought that the bullet went through his back, and then that's how she got the bullet. But then she says, no, it went through his neck.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's weird that there's conflicting reports of where he was shot, but that's...
Yeah, it went through his neck and into the wall, and that's where she got it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the other part that I think Q and his buddy make is that it's causes more damage because it flattens. Goes through. So, I mean, that's kind of cool, because they're sort of taking that into account. But just a minor thing that I was thinking about. I was like, man, you could really protect yourself. Pretty easily. But let's see. So we're at the high-fat compound, and we see Bond and his fake third nipple. Not what was his name?
And we get to meet Chew Me, who's skinny dipping.
I know, you can see a lot in that, man.
Yeah, I read that. The IMDb trivia says, you can clearly see her nude underwear, but it doesn't look... I mean, it looks like she's... Yeah, it looks like she's completely naked underwater.
Unless they've painted a patch for her, I don't...
Right,
don't
yeah.
know. I could definitely see something else down there.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the Bond team. They're like, okay, we'll cover you up.
Yeah.
We're going to paint this on there. I don't know. I was thrown off. I was like, oh, getting racy.
Yeah, it was surprising. Yeah. But it's a good reason for
me,
Bond.
I was like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a good reason for him to take his shirt off, that's for sure.
Exactly. And that's the only point, is that he reveals his third nipple, knowing that he's going to get caught, and that, High Fat is going to then realize that he's talking to Scaramanga. But
oh, yeah, they play him good.
Yeah. The whole thing, though, kind of breaks down when moments later you realize that High Fat knows Scaramanga, and that Scaramanga is literally on the premises at the same time. So it's a weird bit of deception for deception's sake. Like, High Fat plays it off like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. Like,
Well, it's like, I was writing down something before I saw the reveal of Scaramanga.
Yeah.
I was writing down, like, High Fat couldn't look up who James Bond is.
Right.
Like, he's a well-known spy, and he's probably aware of who's tracking the solar cell.
Yeah.
And then I saw Scaramanga, so then I realized it was a ploy.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah. It was weird.
It's a little weak moment, but it, like most everything else, it gets glossed over so quickly that you're on to the next thing,
Well, I was gonna bust into the when he shows up for the dinner.
Yeah.
They they have I'll just go through it quickly, but they have like weird statues showing fight scenes, and a sumo set going after each other, which I saw in the beginning.
They set up earlier.
And I will say, awesome move by Bond to do the wedgie squeeze groin pull.
I didn't realize that their whatever loincloths were like tightened at the back, and that would that would
that was awesome. I love that he knew who to do that.
Yeah, and it's effective. I mean, it gets the dude, it subdues him pretty quick.
And it sort of jumps to, Nack's there with his trident, and pretending to be the sea god.
His Aquaman trident?
Yes. But essentially Bond gets captured and thrown into a martial arts school for some reason.
Yeah, that's a stretch that I don't know where it comes from. As much, I guess, as near as I can tell, they throw him into this, martial arts school where when they fight to kill. And so maybe their plan is to kill Bond using this, well-trained, I guess, karate student as a display to everyone else. Yeah,
because
they don't expect Bond to win.
No, I mean and it leads to one of my favorite scenes with the basically schoolgirls that are what's his face,
Hip's nieces,
and it's the first time I've seen Bond like put in his place like in a while. Probably since that volcano layer scene with the two gymnastic type girls, where they're beating the crap out of Bond in the
Diamonds Forever. Right.
It's probably been since
Bambi and Thumper.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he makes them step back, and then they just go right in front of him and start taking their stance, and then whoop some serious ass.
I know. I dig that, because for a second, he's trying to protect them, so he pushes them behind him.
Yeah.
But then it's awesome when they just jump ahead and just start kicking all kinds of ass.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you, my niece's dad is a karate master or something.
Yeah.
So I love that part. That Bond is saved by two schoolgirls.
It's a great scene.
It was awesome.
But then when they're escaping into the car, they just leave him.
That's the crowning jewel of that moment.
But obviously that leads us to another goddamn boat chase.
Oh, and of course you know who shows up.
J.W. Pepper.
Oh, God. Which leads right to my worst Good Lord.
I will say, I don't mind J.W. Pepper in this movie as much as the previous movie.
Well,
He's
yeah,
better
it
in
wasn't
this
as
one
long.
somehow.
It wasn't as long.
Right. Yeah, it's not a
But
20-minute boat chase.
I'm like, did people really think this guy was funny?
I guess so. I think audiences just ate him up.
Lord. Because they had to if they brought him back. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, we got to bring this guy back. Everyone was talking about it.
Right. And yeah.
Ugh.
But I don't, like I said, I don't mind him as much in this one.
Yeah.
He's got some, just some outlandish, like calling everyone pointy heads and just, he's the racist American caricature, that I don't know.
Well, we're sort of jumping into the third act now.
Yeah, I think so.
So, JW.
Yeah.
I just put fly.
Yeah.
It was so shoehorned. He had no real
Right.
purpose in this movie other than to just be comic relief.
Yeah.
And I did not find it funny. It was just... maybe I'm just, like, jaded against him now, and I just can't stand him.
Could be, yeah. Oh, one thing from Act 2 that I really liked was kind of right there at the end when Scaramanga kills High Fat.
Oh, yeah.
They're in his office, and I just like that Scaramanga is casually putting his gun together, because they've kind of hinted at it, throughout the movie, that his gun is made up of a golden pen, a cigarette case, his cuffling is the trigger, just some other like odd and end little items that he has on him at all times, so he can assemble this gun. So it's a cool. He kills High Fat, in his office, and essentially he takes over his whole operation. So
yeah, and if I was High Fat, I would have been like, hey, stop putting your gun together.
Yeah, but it seemed like he didn't even realize that that's what he was doing. So maybe he never was aware of how he killed everybody. So, so I guess back to
this is where Scaramanga kind of becomes our evil villain.
Right.
Where it was in question before this.
Yeah.
Okay, so Act 3, you get a really pathetic scene with Goodnight.
Yeah.
Where she's finally getting James into bed, and then Miss Andre, or whatever the hell her name,
Miss Anders.
Yeah, she shows up, and Bond needs to get with her in order to get her on his side, so they got to do it. And then
for Queen
her,
and Country.
Yeah, for Queen and Country.
For Queen and Country, Patrick. I mean, come on.
Friggin' Goodnight's under the blankets.
Oh,
and then gets thrown into a closet. I'm like, man, you're a real piece of shit, Bond.
I know. You son of a bitch.
And he still gets her later in the movie.
I know.
Like,
I know.
Jeez.
And this is kind of when I think, Anders is telling him that she just wants him to kill Scaramanga, and that she'll bring him the Solex.
She wants free of him.
And it's convincing, but I'm also like, when I'm kind of rewatching this, I'm dubious. I'm expecting her to be setting up Bond, and really to truly be partners with Scaramanga. So at this point, I don't really trust her.
Yeah, I mean, it goes from that to the Muay Thai scene really quickly.
Yes.
And I loved that scene.
That was probably one of the standout scenes for me, was Bond finally meeting Scaramanga, and it's just this great, just a conversation. Well, I mean, it's kind of more one-sided, because Scaramanga's just telling him his life story.
Bond already knows it.
Yeah.
But
no, it is a good scene.
The trap that was set, she comes back and Scaramanga knows something's up.
Yeah.
But not enough, because he can't find the device that she stole. But she's just sitting there dead.
I know. It's strange.
Like, he followed her to the meeting place and killed her, but somehow nobody knew that he killed her. I didn't quite get that part, but... Yeah,
I guess, it's strange that there's a dead woman sitting upright in a crowded boxing match that no one noticed she was dead.
Well, it makes it seem like he killed her there.
He did.
Yeah, so that's the part that's throwing me off, but...
I have to imagine he was somewhere like up in the rafters or somewhere high up, and he like from across the way shot her where she was sitting.
Yeah.
Because he says like it was an impressive shot. Like he's bragging on himself,
And then you got Knick-Knack's back helping him out by holding things in place.
Just eating peanuts
and this peanut
put
bag gun.
a gun on Bond. Yeah.
Eat your heart out, Q. He's got a peanut gun.
Yeah.
But I it was hilarious that Bond was able to get the device that was on the ground.
Yeah, a little sleight of hand with hip, bringing peanuts and.
I like that. That was smooth. And it sort of leads into a weird. I didn't quite get the scene that they part ways, but then, like, if it wasn't for Goodnight getting stuck in the trunk,
right?
Would they have met up again?
I don't know, because really, I guess at that point, Bond has the Solex, even though Scaramanga doesn't know it, because he doesn't know where it is. Yeah, that's a strange. What would have happened if Goodnight hadn't, I guess, messed everything up?
Yeah, well, she should have just put the damn tracker in the wheel well, called it a day.
Yeah, not tried to put it in the trunk.
Although she picked a lock, so good on her. She did something.
Yeah. and she's trying to do a good job. That's the unfortunate part, is that she's trying hard.
Another incompetent.
But I love the look on Scaramanga's face when he just tosses her in the trunk, slams the lid, and just the smile on his face is like, that was pretty awesome. Like, I'm really proud of myself.
It's like, alrighty, job well done.
Yeah, good job, Scaramanga.
But yeah, it's weird that, like, I was wondering what would have happened. Like, what was the plan?
Yeah, it never even occurred to me.
Yeah. But it didn't go that way, so she gets stuck in a trunk, and we get a fun little car product placement.
Oh, yeah. The AMC company, or AMC Motors, they donated, or not donated, but they gave production like 15 of their cars, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a very heavy, buy the AMC Hornet,
Just like Bond.
Yeah. But I do like the car chase scene.
Yeah.
We get...
JW's back.
JW.
For some reason he's car shopping in China.
Yeah, like you do. But just the filming of the car chase was really well done. There's a lot of close calls just with camera work and, just dodging kind of in and out of traffic. It's just really well shot, I thought.
Yeah, it leads to my both most impressive and least pulled off stunt.
Yeah, the corkscrew jump.
Yeah, I mean the stunt itself was awesome, but the stupid slide whistle noise.
I know it really ruins it. It ruins the moment because it's a badass real stunt that they pulled off by corkscrew jumping over this river. They did it in one take. The guy that pulled it off, I think it was Cubby Broccoli, the producer, said, or might have been the director, says, do you want to go again? Try and do it again? And the guy was like, no, that was enough. You got the one.
Yeah.
You're not thinking that.
I sure am, boy. Ever heard of Evel Knievel?
But then, they just ruin it by dropping the audio completely and layering in this slide whistle. Boop.
Yeah.
Boop.
That was awful.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my most disappointed parts.
I know.
I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then I heard the sound and I was like, oh, I wish I didn't hear that.
Yeah. It's so poorly done, but
it redeems itself
jump,
later.
Yeah, the jump is awesome.
Yeah. The stunt itself is pretty awesome, but yeah, they ruined it. So they chase him to this warehouse, essentially.
Yeah, a little hangar.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it was a hangar at the time.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't.
Yeah. And that leads into the greatest gadget in this movie. And I thought Hugh might have been a little jealous.
Yeah, well, according to him, we've been working on flying cars, that's really not that big of
Well, he's
He
been
says, like, it's
working
not-
on it. That doesn't mean
Yeah,
they finished it. So I thought he was kind of jealous.
Yeah.
And I love that part. I was like, fucking flying car, all right.
It's pretty awesome. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it looks cheesy because they use like it looks like an RC car.
Yeah, it's definitely a model.
But the idea of it is badass.
Yeah, I mean, they even had, like, the part where the wings connect to the car frame.
Yeah.
It was, like, awesome. And then they had the reveal of Good Night opening the trunk. And she's like, what?
Yeah, 10,000 feet or whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it wasn't pulled off the best, but awesome idea. And I enjoyed it.
Sure.
It was my Bond gadget geek out moment, and it wasn't even his.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Let's see. What else we got in Act 3? I mean, because we're basically just leading up to
the giant solar power energy collector.
Yeah,
that thing is huge.
Solar, I know.
Yeah, essentially they track Good Night to the island.
Yeah.
And Bond flies in there under radar, but still gets seen.
By the Chinese government apparently is working for Scaramanga, and they alert him that that a plane is coming in.
Yeah, I thought that was because he's taken over for High Fat.
Right.
Now he's got some extra pull.
Right. Let's see. I do like I like that when Scaramanga is showing off the solar technology, the solar, generators and all that. Like, he literally just says, I don't understand all this. Apparently it's how it works. And then, of course, Bond knows how it works.
Of course.
They tell me the electricity is stored in here, somewhere. Science was never my strong point.
Superconductivity coils cooled by liquid helium. If I were you, I wouldn't stick my finger or anything else for that matter in there. At 453 degrees below zero, that liquid helium would break it off like an icicle.
You really know far more about it than I do, Mr. Bond. I'm arranging for every country that can afford the price to send their experts here to see for themselves.
But no Solex until the money is in the bank, right?
Right.
Oh, secret technology. Oh, yeah, I learned about that already. Right.
But I like it. It's nice that they didn't make the villain a science genius.
Yeah.
He just flat out says, I don't get it, but it works, and people are going to pay me a lot of money to use it. So
yeah, and it was a nice change from your evil genius.
Yeah, it's not Blofeld, being a master at various, scientific, research. So, and honestly, I kind of like that it's just a heat wave gun,
Yeah.
And
I was worried it was going to be a laser gun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just basically it seemed like it shot out a pulse of heat and energy, from what I could gather.
It focuses the sun's rays using the Solex, and it just turns he's got the gun. He calls it the golden gun. And he can just fire the sun's radiation at things. So, they don't, I mean, obviously this is kind of obviously it's the end of the movie, but they don't overemphasize this weapon that much. It really becomes all comes down to the duel between Scaramanga and Bond. Like, it's not necessarily global threatening. It's not, the world isn't necessarily being held ransom, Yeah,
it's more of him just trying to get money so that other people can have a monopoly on energy, essentially.
Yeah.
So it is a global thing, but not really like, I'm going to take over the world. It's just I want to get paid a lot.
Yeah.
Do
you want to talk about the duel?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad. It was a flashback of the beginning opening.
Right.
Same setup, and Nack was sort of, telling Bond, good luck.
Yeah.
Because, they have that weird dynamic.
Yeah. It's like, hey, if you kill him, I get all of this.
Yeah.
It's not a big thing, but when Bond loses his gun, apparently he gets a replacement gun from the fake Bond wax statue that has bullets and is a functional real gun. So that's probably the biggest stretch.
Oh no, Nack knows what's going on.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I could see Nack planting real weapons,
Why not?
throughout the funhouse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay, I'll buy
I can
that.
bend
Then.
reality for that. I mean,
Yeah, I guess so.
somewhat possible.
You brought me around.
Yeah. Easily swayed.
Yeah, I have no.
Just say knick-knack.
I have no convictions.
So you say knick-knack, go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. Oh, Nack, that's the answer to everything.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Moving on.
Yeah, I mean, I like that it sort of tied back in that odd statue he had of Bond to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, I was, like, expecting something to come out of that anyway.
Right.
Because I was like, okay, that's weird that he's got a statue of James Bond, but whatever.
I like that this movie, it's got a lot of big moments in it, car chases and and various things, but it funnels down and gets smaller to this. It's just a gunfight between these two guys, and that's one of the things that I really appreciate about Skyfall is that it, way later on, obviously, it has huge moments, but every moment the big action scenes get smaller and smaller until the end of the movie is just, Bond takes out the bad guy with a knife, in a face-to-face kind of moment. It instead of getting bigger, it gets smaller, but in a really well done way. And this one kind of does that for me. Like,
yeah, it's the scale comes down, but the tension goes up.
Yeah, it's definitely creepy and off-putting as Bond's going through this funhouse, with Nack is tracking him on cameras, and he's getting frustrated because he can't find Bond. But yeah, the tension's ramping up because you don't know where Scaramanga is.
And it's Bond versus, like, reverse Bond.
Yeah, it's two assassins against each other. So I think it's well done.
Yeah. I dug it. And then, spoiler, Bond wins.
Yeah.
He masquerades as the wax Bond and shoots Scaramanga right in the head, essentially.
Yeah.
No thrills. He has like a surprised look on his face, like, oh, you got me.
Right.
It's like, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And then, it scoots to sort of Bond and good night after she throws a dude into the cooling vat, trying to figure out how to get the Solex out.
Yeah, she just kind of bumbles her way through the ending of this movie. She's hitting buttons by mistake with her butt,
I was like, oh, geez, of course.
Yeah. She does kill that maintenance guy who has a weird moment of, like, he's leering at her and he's touching her.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird.
Really creepy.
But yeah, she chucks him into the vat.
Yeah.
And that raises the temperature, so they gotta hurry.
Right.
And she sets it off with her butt. Then, Then for some reason a cloud can block solar energy.
Sure.
Because it's... I didn't get that part, but...
Yeah, I guess it's just there to build up the tension because as soon as the sun is fully out and the rays are getting picked up, it's going to fry Bond, unless he can get that thing open. But I like the idea that this powerful weapon can be
blocked by
on a cloudy day. It's like, well, I can't hold the world ransom today because there's clouds.
Yeah. I was like, I have been burnt on a cloudy day, I'll have you know.
Yeah. But I guess I get the impression that part of it is the gun stores the energy, so the gun can be used at any time as long as there's energy stored up.
Yeah.
But the threat is obviously just the sun's rays being fried, or frying Bond while they're being collected.
Yeah.
So I think the last little bit, to talk about, at least in Act 3, is the very ending with the boat.
Yeah. Again, we're at sea with Bond and a lady.
Yeah.
And
which feels right.
Yeah. It's Scaramanga's boat that she had been on. Actually, no, it's a different lady. So this is the first time she's been on the boat.
But she knew exactly where it was.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a throwaway line that Scaramanga says, when Bond gets to the island, Scaramanga says, "Oh, she's around here somewhere. She's been running around. Where else can she go?" So apparently she's been on her own to explore and sit around in bikinis.
Yeah, no kidding. Gotta have a bikini shot in a Bond movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nick Nack shows up while they're trying to get busy.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to just watch them for a while, and that would be like the ending.
Yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me.
No. But he tries to kill him pirate style with the knife in his teeth.
Yeah.
And jump down on him. I like that there's mirrors all over this place. It's very, very Bondish.
Bondish, yeah.
And awesome fight takes place.
It's pretty sweet. I mean, I like that he's using his size as an advantage to like hide behind things or hide under things.
Yeah, he can crawl through secret passages and
kicks his shins at one point.
Oh yeah, well that's a go-to. That's a must.
Yeah. I was really worried when Bond broke the chair, and he breaks the chair, and he's got this H-shaped, 2 handles. I thought he was gonna like pin Nick Nack, like to keep him at arm's length, essentially.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad they didn't do that.
Yeah. Well, they did it even worse. They put him in a suitcase.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they did do that.
Oh, he's tiny. Let's put him in a suitcase.
Please, I can't breathe.
Yeah. And you know what? When they cut to Bond, just taking care of business, I was like, oh, great. He threw him in the ocean. He's going to drown.
I thought that too.
But no.
I like that he just tossed him up in a net, and hoisted him to the...
It looked like he was in like a crab catching cage or something. Like
kind of, yeah. It was like a weird, some kind of netting, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that does lead to one of the dirtiest lines of the movie.
I know.
I was like, damn, Bond.
Yeah.
Saucy.
About Good Night.
Yeah. M calls on the bed phone.
Yeah.
That somehow he got the number to.
He just looked him up, looked up Scaramanga in the phone book. I don't know why they hadn't done this previously.
Scaramanga ship phone.
Yeah.
So Bond has the line, because M is asking for good night.
Yeah.
And he goes, she's just coming, sir.
Oh, but I was surprised at that line, for sure.
Yeah, I was like, damn, straight to the
yeah.
point.
Well, even in rewatching it, this morning I watched parts of it again, and the song has a line about Scaramanga is, it's like when he comes, he's ready to kill. Essentially calling back that, he has sex before every kill. So
nice.
I didn't catch it the first time around, but, it was kind of a surprising little line. So yeah, I mean, it's a funny way to close the movie. Bond and Goodnight, like making out, and M on the phone just waiting for Goodnight, and
then the song kicks in.
Yeah, that's a little weaker, but
so yeah, that's the movie.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
And I don't want to speak for you, but it sounds like we had a much better time with this one than Live and Let Die.
Oh, holy hell, yes. Well, it was like what I was saying. It's like a return to Bond.
Yeah,
like some of the
and
stuff
I didn't
is like back that was missing in the previous one.
I didn't realize that that's what it was, but I think you're right. And I remember my notes from Live and Let Die that there were so many weird things about that movie that none of it felt like a Bond movie.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. Like they've added in the elements that we've come to know and like about Bond. So yeah, I think you're right about that.
So yeah, much better time. It was just a fun Bond movie once again.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too heavy. I like that Roger Moore still had his sort of frivolity that he brought to Bond in the last one, but it added in the action that was kind of missing.
Okay.
In this one, brought action back, and it wasn't too serious, but it wasn't too goofy either.
Yeah, he's charming as hell.
Yeah,
and then he's cold and ruthless, like we talked about.
Yeah, the groin shot versus
Yeah.
any other scene was probably the most dark scene
Yeah.
Bond in a while. Other than like the aftermath of Bond's wife getting killed.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a darker scene in Bond.
Right.
And it wasn't dark, it was just kind of hardcore.
Sure.
Like he was going to shoot this dude's junk off, and that's pretty messed up for Bond to do, as somebody that uses his junk on a daily.
I think him with Miss Anders, on the bed, I think was a darker.
That's true.
Darker moment, but yeah, it's to get kind of two moments like that with a Roger Moore, I think is interesting.
Okay, so what did you want to jump into as far?
We're gonna kind of do some new little what do you call them?
Segments.
New segments, yeah. We'll see kind of how these go, and do you want to talk about the most heroic moment or moments?
Sure.
Since this podcast is Real Comic Heroes, we should talk about what is heroic about this movie.
As far as heroic, I don't know if it's really heroic, but it's the part that I liked the most was the part that he sort of got the drop on Scaramanga and followed through with killing him as hiding within his own waxwork. Taking the place of the waxwork. I thought that was a big hero moment where Bond became Bond and thwarted the villain with his own sort of setup.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one.
I like that as my heroic moment or Bond moment.
Yeah. I kind of cheated. I didn't go with Bond on mine. My most heroic moment for the movie is when the girls stepped up and protected Bond.
Definitely. I mean, that was like straight out of like anime. It was so awesome.
And actually, I had a couple other like honorable mentions. And when Miss Anders kind of turns on Scaramanga, she that's pretty heroic because she essentially sacrifices herself to deliver the Solex to Bond.
Yeah.
So.
Granted, she probably wasn't planning on that, but
yeah.
She knew it was a risk.
Yeah, because she definitely didn't want to. She just wanted Bond to kill Scaramanga and to get away without, But Bond kind of sent her in, said, "Hey, I need this device," So she completed that mission.
Yeah.
So
good on her. Too bad it didn't go as she planned.
Yeah. And then. You got anything else, like honorable mentions as far as
I'll give
moments of heroism?
I'd probably put... Well, no, I'll save that one for later.
Okay. My most villainous moment, because I figure we ought to do a counter to that, was it was really sad finding Miss Anders dead, so I would say Scaramanga killing her is because the solar threat of this movie is so downplayed. The most evil moment, I guess, that really affects me is seeing her dead. So
yeah, that was That was a shocking moment. I wasn't expecting.
Yeah,
like at first I thought it was a wax figure.
Oh yeah, that would have been a.
So I thought he was like just playing Bond that way, but then I saw the bullet hole. I'm like, oh shit! All right,
yeah,
game on.
Yeah.
Let's see. For my villainous moment, I'm gonna give that to James Bond.
Okay.
For attempting to shoot off the groin of the bullet maker, because I mean, come on, Bond.
Denying the world the children of the.
Well, it's like if there's one person that's gonna cherish his junk and understands how much that would hurt somebody, it's Bond.
Sure.
And he's gonna go and do that. That's pretty villainous. That's pretty hardcore. Yeah. I mean, for Bond to do that to another person, it's pretty heinous. So that's mine. Two-fingered gun versus groin of Bullet Man.
Right.
Because obviously the one you mentioned is probably the most badass villain part.
Yeah.
So that was like, that's what I thought. Bond took it too far.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, dude. Because he actually shot. Like, you're right. It is an inch off.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. All right. So, yeah. And then, just for a fun villainous moment, I was waiting for a certain sound effect when they took off in the flying car.
Oh,
I was waiting for him to go, whoa, you'll never catch me, Bond. I'm flying in my car.
Yeah, I do like the smirking on Scaramanga's face when they're on opposite sides of the river.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to say he kind of looks back. Well, they both do.
Yeah.
Scaramanga kind of looks over his shoulder and looks at Bond, and then it cuts back, and Nack's just waving at him.
He's like, neener, neener, neen.
Yeah. And I want to say they do kind of the same thing when they fly off. I think Scaramanga kind of has a look on his face, like, just smug.
Yeah.
You know, he's just really proud of himself.
Yeah, I love that, like, villain escape.
Yeah, and Christopher Lee as Scaramanga was a great...
Oh, yeah.
He's a great villain in this.
I know, I was like, hey, isn't that the dude from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. Is that Dracula?
Oh, yeah. It was awesome casting, because, like, High Fat was forgettable.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah. It was, again, also another Bond thing, a good villain.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't the genius mastermind, he was a good bad guy for Bond to go up against.
Yeah, because for this story, we didn't need Blofeld in this movie.
No.
You know,
it was sort of like a Bond versus like reverse Bond. It was two similar professions going against each other, because essentially Bond is a hitman. It's just like Scaramanga said. It's the Queen who's authorizing his hits.
Right.
Which I thought was a good thing to bring up.
Yeah, when Scaramanga compares himself to him, yeah.
I mean, they both love the ladies.
Oh, yeah.
And they both kill dudes. So, yeah, they're basically the same.
Yeah.
Which I know Bond didn't like.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so yeah.
So what else? Another segment we're going to do is kind of what holds up the best. And these don't necessarily have to fall into our pros and cons and, you know, what doesn't work, but just what's still... I guess what looks the best, what still looks good, or what moments hold up, or what themes hold up. So
right off the bat was the car flip, other than the slide whistle thing.
Yep, I had the same thing.
Pretty awesome stunt.
Yeah, the chase that leads up to it also holds up for me. But yeah, the stunt itself totally holds up. It's still awesome.
I'm glad they got away from the yakety sax police cars running into each other thing.
Yeah, there's a little bit, but not much, and they don't overdo it.
And less boat chase.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we get some boat chase, but it's very quick and quick and easy, and they don't overdo it.
That's all I want.
Yeah. For me, the ship, the base, the Queen Elizabeth, on its side, definitely. that secret base for MI6 is badass.
Yeah, it's got to be one of the best ones that I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just smart that they were able to use that wreck as a base, because nobody would think to mess with a rusting old ship. Well,
and that they tie it into something that, it was a real world element of this capsized ship that's sitting in probably like Hong Kong Bay or I think somewhere. They use it for the movie. It's like, hey, there's a ship on its side. They couldn't have planned that, So I think it sank like in 1972. So they only had like a couple years to say, hey, let's use that ship that's on its side as a secret base, and I think it's awesome. So
yeah. Do you want to do what didn't hold up?
Yeah, sure.
As usual, I'll probably say. I mean, it's hard to say because I wanted to say the flying car, but it was just such a great idea that I'll forgive it that you could tell it was a toy.
Yeah, technically it may not hold up, but the idea of it's there.
Yeah, because everyone likes a flying car. And if you're going to have a spy movie, what better place to have a flying car?
Right.
But the effect didn't quite get pulled off as well as you'd like. But the idea, and, I mean, it was kind of cool, like, the part where the car was driving with the wings on it.
Yeah.
And, like, the process of latching it to the car frame made sense.
Well, and I also like that sometimes you see flying cars, and this one almost is convincing. Like, had that car actually taken off, I would not have been surprised, because the wings looked big enough. It looked like it had like a jet engine on top.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it looked like it could have flown.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very convincing, not prop, but convincing, car that they're they're actually driving around.
Whole part with the runway scene, like I was expecting it to take off, no problem.
I wouldn't have been surprised had it really flown. The only thing I had for what doesn't hold up for me is just the casual racism from J.W. Pepper and just the I guess that's it really.
Yeah, J.W. just doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall it was a pretty solid movie as far as what holds up, because there wasn't a villain that was exploding with air. Right.
There's no Scaramanga balloon. Yeah.
So compared to the last one, this one was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Did you want to just go into ratings, or did you want to hit another category?
I mean, I've got some pros and cons.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can do that.
For me, my number one pro is just Bond versus Scaramanga. We've talked about it already, just the assassin versus assassin. It overshadows the bigger threat of some solar-powered weapon, because that's kind of, it's not as important as what the real story is about Bond versus this assassin. It's not as good as the Bond versus Red Grant, theme from Russia with Love, because
from Russia with Love, yeah.
Scaramanga is not quite as menacing, but he's still there throughout the whole movie as this presence,
Yeah.
So that for me was something I really enjoyed about this one.
Okay.
I already talked about the music. I really like that Man with the Golden Gun theme song. They used it, like I said, as a saloon kind of anthem in the Funhouse.
Mm-hmm.
They put like an Asian spin to it and use it, when Bond is in high fats place, or like I said, don't like the lyrics, but I do like the actual music I like the music. I don't like the lyrics.
Okay.
Sorry, I just went through two of mine.
Okay.
What do you got?
Well, my number one is schoolgirl Bond rescue scene.
Okay. Yeah.
Love that. I mean, it brought in, because that whole section with the school made me think of like a Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah, it's definitely inspired by those like chopsaki, martial arts are a big thing, so we need to throw it in a movie kind of.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that whole sequence, like school scene.
Yeah.
Didn't really understand why he was there, but besides that, I really enjoyed that scene.
Yeah.
And of course, the flying car.
Right.
That was just awesome.
My only other pro that I had written down was the pacing. It kept me interested. Like we've said, there's very little scheme or plot as far as evil plot. But
it's more of a greedy plot than an evil plot.
Sure. And just the whole movie builds to that intimate one-on-one duel that I really like about this one. So
good.
So those are my pros.
Cons, I didn't really have too many, honestly.
No, I only had two.
Okay.
And we talked about.
Yeah.
For me, we've talked about one of them. I think for you, the slide whistle.
Yeah.
That was my number one con.
That just stuck out like a sore thumb. It was a ruined stunt with a horrible sound effect.
Yeah.
I thought I was watching Dukes of Hazzard again.
Right, yeah.
Like, what are those Duke boys going to do now?
Yeah.
Just waiting for them to crash into some hay bales.
Yeah.
Ugh, it was bad. But my number one con was probably the return of Slap Happy Bond, where he likes to beat up on women. And
yeah, no, that's definitely a... Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude. Bond's supposed to be smooth.
Right, yeah. I would have liked him seducing his way out of situations. Like, that was...
it was just an a-hole move.
Yeah.
It wasn't needed.
Let's see. My only other con is that the Bond and Goodnight relationship...
Yeah, it's pretty horrible.
In the beginning, when she first pops up, he treats her like garbage. Like she's just an annoyance to him.
Oh yeah.
But then once M partners him up with her, then it's like they're going out. They're going out to dinner. He's
throwing her in a closet while he makes out with another chick.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to sleep with her and then gets interrupted by Miss Anders, and and then towards the end of the movie, it's it gets back to them in bed together, and the unfortunate part about all of that is that she goes along with all of it.
Oh yeah, she's like she's got some daddy issues.
Yeah, she's just hooked on it, or like seeking his approval throughout the entire movie, even though he's so dismissive of her.
It makes her want him that much more.
I know. So that for me is a definite con. Just that relationship that seemed that he didn't like her, but then as soon as they're working together, now she's on the it's like now she's up for grabs basically.
Well, it's like she's signified as a liaison,
right?
So I don't understand why she was getting so involved.
Yeah. I
mean, maybe she was stepping up her game, trying to impress Bond or something.
And that could be it, because she says that she's been working for 2 years, like, I think more of an gathering intelligence kind of role.
I saw her as,
maybe not.
What's her name? Julie Stiles in Bourne Identity.
Okay, yeah.
Like I saw her as kind of that kind of character,
that's a good comparison.
But, obviously not.
But then there's also a bit of Rosie Carver in her from Live and Let Die, where she's just the inept, kind of bumbling agent.
Yeah.
So, just for me, just their relationship was unfortunate, that she sought his approval so much that she was willing to ignore the fact that he was, just dismissing her from the start. So
yeah.
So that's all I have for cons, just those two.
All right, you want to get into the rating?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds like we agreed that this has been a better film than Live and Let Die.
For sure.
I guess I'll start it off.
Okay.
I'll definitely watch this again. It was a lot of fun.
Okay, good.
It's what I'd call like a good old-fashioned action Bond movie.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'd see this as a popcorn film.
Yeah.
Because it's got great action. It's got an intriguing story of like almost spy versus spy, but it's assassin versus assassin. So it's like the two best at what they do going up against each other. So right there, I'm on board. And it's got really fun action as well as some pretty hardcore action.
Yeah.
But I'd give it a solid 4.
Nice.
Like, it's up there. It's one of my favorite Bond movies. Oddly, it's syncing up with what we talked about last week with the Golden movies.
Yeah.
I really like
you're right.
Goldfinger, and I like Man with the Golden Gun. And we'll see on GoldenEye how I like that one. But so far, the gold ones have been the gold standard for me.
Ah, right on. No, I'm glad to hear that. I was really nervous after last week with Live and Let Die, and I was like, I don't want you to have to sit through 2 movies in a row that you dreaded the whole time,
Oh, yeah. It was like 2 completely different movies.
Good, yeah. Because even as I was watching this, I was like, I'm enjoying the hell out of this one. But then as soon as J.W. Pepper shows up, I'm like, oh no, I just lost Patrick,
Well, it saved me because he wasn't in it that long.
Right.
And maybe I zoned him out for the part he was in there.
Yeah.
I forgave, that, and they had a flying car after him, so
right.
made me forget real quick.
Yeah.
I was like...
Oh, and for me, the scenes with him were legitimately kind of funny. Like, once they get to the airplane hangar, JW just steps up and he's, like, trying to, talk to the local authorities, I like that scene. It's actually funny of him trying to liaise with the local authorities. So, so I guess, I'm right there with you. I will watch this one again. It's, I don't know what else I can really say about it. It's got a lot of elements that just get it right. It has like you said, it's got a lot of elements that return us to Bond, where we haven't really been for a while. So it is nice that this one, it just felt right, Yeah. It's not, it may not be as intense or, exciting as a From Russia with Love or a Goldfinger, but yeah, for me it's up there. It's one of the favorites that we've watched so far. So I give it a 3.5.
Oh, this is the first time I've outrated you.
It is, and I'm glad actually. I'm glad that you liked it so much. So, the average will get a 3.75, and that's a really good rating, I think, for this one, especially coming on to the second Roger Moore movie, where the first one was such a letdown.
Yeah.
I'm glad that right away, and it's kind of like Dr. No was just okay.
Yeah.
As the first Bond movie. And then From Russia with Love, the second one really is kind of where it kicked into gear for us. So maybe it's just kind of the same thing. The first one's okay. I don't think that holds up for all the future Bonds.
Yeah, because wasn't GoldenEye the first?
Yeah, GoldenEye's the first one. The second one of Brosnan's I don't think is as well regarded. Yeah. And then with Daniel Craig, it's kind of the opposite, because the first Daniel Craig is really good, and then the second one is kind of like, So, no, I'm really glad that we had a good experience with this one. So,
yeah, I mean the ship layer that M had was just, I don't know. There's a lot of things in this that I liked a lot.
Yeah, good.
So
obviously we would recommend this one.
Yeah, definitely. And I'd probably watch this again in another year or so.
Good, yeah.
So we're gonna watch another Bond movie next. Is that what I hear?
No, my friend.
What? Oh, it's an ape movie, right?
Sorry to break the news, but the next movie we'll review takes place a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Oh, isn't this that space opera movie?
Yeah, it's something where, some space pirate and his dog co-pilot pick up some redneck farm boy and his robot buddies, and
they find some dude that's got issues with his breathing.
some 6-foot asthmatic in a cape.
And when you put it like that way, I'm not looking forward to it.
So yeah, we're finally getting to get to talk about Star Wars.
It's a New Hope.
It is a new hope for the show.
Episode 4.
Yeah.
Yet it's before the. I'm so confused.
Yeah.
I hate prequels. They annoy me to no end.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. So yeah, we get to jump into a whole new universe.
Yeah.
And I hear it's pretty well received.
Some people like it. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I mean, it's no Flash Gordon, I heard.
No, that's true. And it's surprising that we didn't have another movie between then and now. I mean, we're jumping from 74 to 77, and
yeah, I heard it was one of the biggest gaps in Bond.
Yeah, I guess, and that's something we didn't really talk about. That Man with the Golden Gun didn't make a ton of money. It wasn't the best received. It wasn't the best received movie in.
I blame the previous Bond for.
I think I would too.
They're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
And then this gem comes out and nobody sees it. Although I don't think it was really rated that high anyway.
No, I don't get the sense that everyone loves this one. It's probably one of those that people just find okay. I don't know. I like it. It's definitely up there for me from the ones we've watched so far. It's,
Yeah, it's got a 6.8 on IMDb, so.
Wow, okay.
It's not
kind of
too high, and then.
Yeah, middle of the road, slightly higher than middle, but.
Yeah, I thought it would have been higher than that, but I guess.
Yeah. Especially with Christopher Lee, he just really nails it for me. Like, that he's a great villain. Not that it has anything to do with the movie itself, but he's the cousin of Ian Fleming.
Man, and it's rotten on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's
wow.
45.
Huh. That's. And
it's only 57 with the audience.
Wow. Now I wonder if you looked up where does this rank among Bond fans? I would think it'd have to be in the upper half,
Yeah, that's just surprising to me. I thought it would have been higher.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now I gotta look up Live and Let Die. Because if that's rated higher, I'm gonna, like, kill somebody.
Lose all faith in the internet.
Oh, that would be... I think I might cry if that is the case. Okay, Live and Let Die, Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
That is... Yeah. What the hell? 66% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And what was this one?
45.
Wow. So actually, it's actually regarded as being better?
Yeah, and even the audience is a 65.
Wow. That's surprising.
What's wrong with you people?
I don't know.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe I just like bad movies. What the hell?
I guess so.
I mean,
okay,
well, that
citizens,
can't
you
be
need to
right.
write in.
That can't be right. I love Spaceballs. That's a classic. No, but this is seriously shocking me that it's this.
That is surprising.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. I guess people will let us know if we're way off the mark on this one.
Well, yeah, definitely. Let us know if this is up there for you as a better Bond movie so far, or is this middle of the road? Is it worse than Live and Let Die? Like, let us know. That'd be...
Yeah, so far it's in my top 3, I think.
Yeah.
That's weird. Okay. Oh, what the hell do I know? Well, that's what I like, damn it. Wow. Yeah, it's shocking that it's 20% off.
Yeah.
That's a huge
seems
difference.
like that's a strange gap.
Yeah. Damn you, Internet.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, yeah, we'll have A New Hope, Star Wars, Episode 4.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah. That's a horrible name, New Hope.
Yeah, and I guess, for diehard Star Wars fans, they don't tend to refer to it as New Hope. It's just, because it's just, originally was just called Star Wars.
That's how I always called it. I didn't even know it was called A New Hope until like maybe 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah,
I think in the late 90s when I bought the box set on, VHS, I kind of understood that it had been retitled. So.
Oh, well. I'll look that aside, and we'll see how this movie really is.
Right.
God,
so yeah, we got anything else?
Without the remastered?
What's that?
Do they have it without the remastered version? Is there like a original version out? Or
I don't think you can. No, I mean, if you downloaded it now or bought it straight from a store, no, there's no pre-special edition available. I thought maybe I heard that one of the next Blu-ray releases, they may include both versions, but that's kind of all up in Disney's hands now.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they might actually release the real deal.
Yeah, because, according to Lucas, he was never going to release the original version, so... But that's not up to him anymore, so...
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of like E.T. when they edited out the shotguns and put walkie-talkies in their hands.
Right.
But I have the version with the rifles, so...
Oh, really? Like on VHS?
It's on DVD.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it was fairly late in the game that they changed that then.
Yeah, I don't... It always annoyed me when I saw the walkie-talkie version.
See, I haven't seen that one in so long, and as a kid, I was never a huge E.T. fan, so that one, never...
Yeah, it's kind of a fun watch. I watched it with my daughter, and she liked it.
Oh, that's good.
She liked drunk E.T.
Nice.
So did I. It's such an odd part of a kid's movie. It's like, we need a Coors Light ad in here. Let's get E.T. drunk, and then freaking Elliot's gonna make out with a chick in the frog class.
Oh yeah.
But so I'm looking forward to the Star Wars, and should be a good episode.
Yeah.
And we could talk offline to find out where we're going with how we want to go forward with that one, because it's a epic movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's probably going to take up some time, because
you're
going to nerd out like no other.
Yeah, that'll be a tricky one. How do we review a movie that, without having looked at it objectively yet, like, in thinking about it, I don't know that I have any flaws. It's going to be a weird one to, like, actually talk about. So.
Oh, I got a flaw right off the bat, and I've already talked about it. Freaking Obi-Wan turning into laundry.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's like, what the hell? So confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I'm going to pick this thing apart.
Yeah.
There's no way it holds up.
Right.
Freaking fluke.
Fluke Skywalker.
Ooh, yeah. I like it. You're on board. You're going to get hate mail for that.
Nice. So yeah, I think that ends this episode. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter. We're Real Comic Heroes. Until then, we're going to leave you with a trailer for a little movie called Star Wars.
So enjoy.
Century Fox and George Lucas bring you an adventure unlike anything on your planet. Star Wars.
Stop that ship! Blast them!
I'd forgotten how much I hate space travel.
Here they come.
They're coming in too fast!
The story of a boy, a girl, and a universe.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
It's a big, sprawling space saga of rebellion and romance.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Come with you to Alderaan. There's nothing for me here now. I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
It's a spectacle, light years ahead of its time. It's an epic of heroes.
Relax. Hit the accelerator.
And villains. And aliens from 1,000 worlds.
Go that way. You'll be malfunctioning within a day, you nearsighted scrap pile.
Star Wars. 1 billion years in the making.
The Force will be with you. Always.